What's happening, guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is your boy, Dr. Martin. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. If you're new here, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. Drop a comment there so we know that we're giving out value. Also, let me know if you really learned a thing or two from the previous video that I had dropped a couple of weeks back. So, I am back again with gold analysis. And obviously, this is a follow through from what I obviously gave out the last time I went live, or the last time I actually posted a video, rather. Again, if you're not following us, you're more than welcome to follow us on Instagram. So, our Instagram channel is at Dr. Martin. You can also follow the company page, Genesis World Club, on Instagram. And obviously, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, do follow us as well. And we aspire to give out great content that can really help and grow individuals become better at their trading as they grow in the industry. So for me, I am giving out this gold analysis. And obviously, as you can see, this analysis completely played out from the previous one that I had posted a couple of weeks back. I did say that I do expect that the markets would literally sink down to 1697 region, 1690, 100, 1750, which we did get to around those levels. And right now, I will give you guys a sentiment of where I think the market can potentially head to and what can we really expect from this gold trade that we do have. So let's get to it. On the screen right here, we do have a chart that we obviously looked at. I didn't really change anything. The chart is still looking exactly the same way it looked like a couple of weeks back for you guys to see that there wasn't any glitch or anything, because people really do claim to know how to analyze, but you truly follow their work to only see that they actually don't really even know what they're talking about. So for me, it's just all about transparency and for you guys to see exactly how this played out, for you guys to see that there's nothing that was done to basically jinx this market or to basically influence moves to happen even on the background of things when you guys are only watching a move that happened later. So this is what we do have in the markets. The market are currently live. As you can see, this is a live market. Today is a Sunday evening, so the markets are quite close, but this is live markets. So we did have an analysis that I did have, obviously, from here. I think the markets were here. This was on a Sunday as well. And one thing that I expected is that the markets were going to pull back at least to this 18,2500 region before we could start selling. So the markets basically closed above that region and level, and obviously gave us a deeper pullback onto 1850, 1855 psychological levels. This is one of the major key zones we do have on gold. 1850, this is quite a significant level that has held for years. So ever since I've traded gold, I've always known that 1850 is one of the strong levels that gold has. And obviously this was a level I anticipated to see how gold literally plays out and how it acts around that specific level. And we can see that we did get a clean rejection on that 1850 100 zone, and the market started crumbling from there. But obviously for me, that wasn't my zone that I had obviously anticipated and looked at. My zone that I was looking at was 1825.900. That's a zone that I spoke about on the video, and that's a zone that I was waiting to see and observe whether the market will give us a clear rejection to the downside or not. So the markets closed above this level, came back below, retested that zone beautifully, and from there we can see that the market started crumbling and sinking to the low. So if you look at this move, you can see that we actually now dropped all the way down to that level that I spoke about. But before we got there, I said that this would have been my direction decider. And this was literally drawn like weeks ago before the move happened. It was drawn even when the markets were here. I did speak about this zone, that this would be my direction decider to basically know whether the market is going to drop further or not. And you can see that exactly at that point, that's where the market gave us a deep pullback. But obviously at this point, right now, my mind is already looking at this previous high that was printed to see whether or not we are still trending down or we are going to change direction. But for me, I did see that, okay, it's either we're going to come to this previous high that was printed around these levels over here. If I can maybe draw that as well so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So this would have been a level that I would have drawn to basically see and understand whether or not are we changing our trends or still continuing with the downward trend before I can basically decide whether this market is now changing in direction or not. And obviously from here, we can see that the market's actually pulled back to that zone. From there, we did get a clear sell off of the markets and to the low. So now the market did come to our anticipated level. Then what is going to happen next? So if we go to the monthly time frame to be quite specific, there's something I basically noticed on this chart that we're trading. Um, Actually, let's go down to the weekly. I think the weekly is a lot better and more clearer on this chart that we're looking at. So this level that the markets have been thrown into is quite a significant zone that we do have on this gold trade that we're looking at. So you can see how the markets rejected from the left-hand side there. You can see how even on the right, they came for a reaction over there and there as well. And we're now back in the zone. So this zone has been a zone that has held even from, 2020, like beginning of 2020. This was in February of 2020. We came back again around that zone in May. We came back again around that zone in June, July. We were around that zone. And again, right now, we're back at that zone. So this is quite a critical and significant zone. However, I'm not saying that the markets are now going to buy long term from this point. But what I am keeping in mind is that this zone is quite a strong and critical zone that is in the markets, and that will sort of help give perspective to my personal trading to understand whether this zone is a zone where I need to start looking for buys or not, or where I should start looking for potential reversals before the actual continuation to the downside. Because remember that the market will entirely react on every zone based on the fact that that zone is a strong zone. So if the market has to break past that zone, it will need a whole lot of strength to break out of it. But also, if the market is thrown into that zone and there's nothing happening, then obviously a reversal or a rejection or a reaction on that zone rather is kind of expected. So for me, this is what I'm personally looking at, that the markets were thrown into this region, which is a very critical area, 1697.70, if I may put it that way. Were thrown into that level, around about 1690, 1680s. And from there, we can see that the market is now currently reacting from that zone. This could either be a continuation to the upside from the long-term upward trend that we had even from the higher time frame, or the markets are generally pulling back to gain strength before we push to the downside. For me, this is what I can see. I can see that the markets printed and established this low around that 1670 level. So 1670 level, that was our direction decider. And I did say that if the markets were to come and break out of that zone, then I would personally look for selling in this current market. So what we do have, even from a daily perspective, we do have a psychological level that was also printed over there, which the markets did kind of show us signs of reversal or rejection around that level. But also there's this strong level which also has to be kept into consideration. So for me, what I am looking at is that the market will give us a slightly steep pullback. I don't think that this was pullback enough. I do think that we will get a slightly deeper pullback into these regions again before we actually rally to the downside, meaning that my sentiment, as it seems, is still quite bearish, looking at the fact that the markets have been actually creating a series of lows to us. And this is what I can basically expect in this market, personally speaking, to say that I do expect that gold will go and tap that zone and level before we actually carry on dropping to the lows. Now, where are we dropping into? For me, I would say that we are going to drop into the 1600s. At least if we can get to 1600 to the T. So 1600 to the T is a zone that I'm anticipating for the lows. And that's because 1600 is also quite a strong zone on this instrument that we're trading. So this is something that I do expect, and I do obviously look forward into trading on this particular market. And now going to the H4 time frame, what is it that we have on the H4 time frame that can confirm my sentiment as well that we saw on the daily time frame? So if we come to the H4 time frame, we can see that even on the 4 hourly, we do have this zone playing out as a major zone of support over there, major zone of support, and obviously was broken and never retested. So if you look at this simple analogy of support and resistance levels, you will understand that after every break of a support level, that support level has to be retested, which in this case, we haven't really seen a full retest of that zone, even though we did have some kind of a pullback over there, but this was not a definite retest on that level. For me, I will be happy if I see a deep retracement on this market, at least back into that zone. And from that zone, we can basically look at clear rejections and, signs of continuation to the lows. And we can basically trade this market all the way to the lows upon rejection on that 1679 level. And obviously, 1600 is an area of anticipation for me, personally speaking. And this is what I think can potentially happen. If you look at this, you can see that this market is clearly a downtrending market. And for me to start buying this market, we would really have to break past that 1800 level for me to believe that these buys will be long-term buys and not obviously short-term pullbacks. But as of me, guys, this is what I do have for you. And don't forget to drop the comments there, hit that subscribe button over there, and obviously follow our YouTube channel as well. So do subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and do leave a like on the video, do leave a comment, and also do tell us what you think. Do tell us whether or not these videos are helpful. Give us, feedback that will really be insightful for us to even better the content that we're giving to you. But this is it from us to you guys. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful trading week. And from me to you guys, I am signing out. Peace out.